Welcome to this very special event. And on behalf of the government of Rwanda, I want to say how delighted we are to be here, to have everyone here this morning to witness a very important milestone in the growth of Akagera Medicine as a pharmaceutical company. Our very own, developed here in Rwanda, initiated by Rwandans, and developed for the diseases, to treat the diseases of Rwanda, of Africa, and indeed anywhere else in the world. So I want to say that this coming, following yesterday's BioNTech inauguration here in Rwanda, is an historic moment in the evolution of the pharmaceutical industry in our country. And I want to congratulate Michael Fairbanks, the medical scientific team that has been working on the research that has gotten us here so far, and also to thank all the investment partners who continue to trust in the scientific team that is developing these important medicines in Akagera. But say once again how delighted we are as a country, as a government, to have all of you who are making important breakthroughs in the treatment of these diseases and improving the well-being of the people of Rwanda, Africa, and the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
BioNTech is also a partner of CEPI's, but Akagera Medicines is the first Rwandan biotech partner that we have worked with. And we're very, very pleased to announce our $1.48 million funding partnership. To work with Akagera on their very innovative lipid nanoparticles, dendritic cell targeting lipid nanoparticles, spit that out, which is the LNPs, if I can switch to the acronym, are a critical component of developing mRNA vaccines. And we all understand the power of mRNA vaccines and the extent to which they served the world well in responding to COVID. But mRNA vaccines it's still a relatively novel technology. They've been under development for 2 decades, but our experience in COVID was the first time the vaccines were delivered clinically. And there are still challenges with the vaccines. One of the challenges is, and I'll switch into a little bit of technical jargon, but the payload, the amount of mRNA that you can put into a vaccine before it becomes what they call reactogenic, which means that giving a person a shot produces a response, an unpleasant response. It can be fever, it can be arm soreness, it can be other things. And another challenge that mRNA vaccines have is what we call the thermostability, the conditions at which they have to be stored, and their shelf life when they are not kept at very, very low temperatures. And so we had to grapple with these challenges during the response to the pandemic. The Akagera technology, as I'm sure, Darryl, you'll say with much more eloquence than I'm using right now, has the potential to help us solve some of these problems and to make the mRNA technology even more useful, easier to use, potentially lower cost. And so we, innovations is in our name. CEPI stands for the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. We are looking to take the technologies we have and make them better. And the reason we were so excited about the approach that Akagera has is that it potentially offers the opportunity to address some of these outstanding challenges that we still have with our mRNA vaccines. And so we are just thrilled to be able to announce the partnership and to open up a new chapter of our partnership with Rwanda. This morning, I was over at the Rwanda Biomedical Center, and I think Rwanda as a country has just assembled an amazing set of partners and institutions, and is creating an ecosystem that will allow biotech ultimately to thrive here. You'll have production technology. The Rwanda Biomedical Center has a terrific set of integrated capabilities, from surveillance and biobanking to clinical trials. And the challenge for creating a life sciences industry in Africa and to fostering innovation in Africa has been that the many elements of the system that all have to fundamentally to exist to foster that innovation are difficult to assemble, but they are coming together, and I think Akagera Medicines illustrates that. And the kinds of partnership that we can bring to support the effort, to support the innovative technology, that's what we were created to do. And this is, we have some other partnerships in Africa with Institut Pasteur Dakar, with Aspen Pharmaceuticals. We're now working on an mpox vaccine with BioNTech. But this is, I think, our first partnership with an African-owned biotech. And so it's historic for us, and we're just thrilled to be able to make the announcement here.
And the core of our technology is to target nanotechnology to the gateways of the immune system, both for small molecule drugs, which we're applying to tuberculosis, and we're very excited that we'll be bringing our first clinical trial to Africa starting in the first half of next year. Rwanda bringing a state-of-the-art nanotechnology, new therapeutic, which we hope will transform multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. There we're using it to target a certain type of immune cell called the macrophage, and right where the tuberculosis lies. So it kind of brings the drug close proximity and kills that drug while minimizing toxicities. But at the same time, what we're doing here with CEPI and with other indications is making vaccines more efficient. So the lipid nanotechnology, that we've seen applied to mRNA, for the COVID-19 vaccine, we've kind of supercharged that. We've added a targeting moiety to the surface of the particle. It causes the dendritic cell, which is this gateway to the immune system. It's what allows for the priming of the immune system to different T cell or B cell mechanisms. And, and in that way, greatly improves the efficiency of that. So by doing that, right now for the first proof of concept, we had more than a 10-fold improvement, in activity. That leads to, as Richard was talking about, the opportunities for lower toxicity, because there's much lower amounts of mRNA being delivered, and a lot of the toxicity comes from the mRNA, payload or its contaminants, and it allows us to improve the cost of goods, and the feedback that we got from BARDA and the NIH and others was that one of the biggest challenges they had was scale up. So when you start talking about, here we're going to develop vaccines for thousands of people in clinical trials, to tens of thousands, now to millions, and then eventually to billions, that's a pretty significant scale-up challenge. So if now you have to have tenfold less, vaccine needing to be manufactured, that's a huge advantage. And that's one of the things that we were trying to achieve, with this technology. And then finally, the third advantage, which is really the core of our collaboration with CEPI, is what's called multivalency. That is the ability to package multiple mRNAs into one nanoparticle. So that way we can target multiple diseases, so maybe influenza and COVID at the same time. For tuberculosis, we're tackling multiple arms of the immune system, so maybe target one mRNA that targets the CD4 pathway and another one that targets a CD8 pathway, always making for a more robust delivery and a more robust vaccine, and hopefully something that you have to take less shots of at the same time. So we're very excited to be here in Rwanda. We're very excited that Rwanda is, our partner, and and to be owned by Rwanda and an African company. We're very proud of that. So thank you.
So thank you for being here and for the announcements. And of course, it goes without saying, Michael, Daryl, and the whole team of scientists behind all this great work done as well, for the great work that you're doing. On behalf of RSSB, or Rwanda Social Security Board, really a fund of the people of Rwanda. The way RSSB is funded is through monthly collection and a volunteering collections of funds placed by our members, which is used in the end to give them the benefits when they're due, whether for pension, for medical insurance, or the universal healthcare, mutuelle de santé, which is over 90% of the Rwandan population, or for maternity leave. But then the surpluses are used to invest and assure sustainability of the fund, so that we can do what we do today without impacting liabilities of the future. But while we do that, being a fund that is about 15% of the GDP of the economy, we also have a mandate to significantly contribute to the socioeconomic development of the country. Rwandan people contributing themselves to the socioeconomic development of the country. Our portfolio, quite diverse, but very exciting on our equity part is when we're able to do things like this. We're invested in financial sector, manufacturing, hospitality, you name it. But I want to spend a bit more time talking about BioNTech, a new investment opportunity in our portfolio, which not only this is one of the few we have, but one of the most exciting in our portfolio. Why invest in BioNTech? Number one, for those who attended the conference yesterday, there are great returns. You've seen that it's a field that it might take long. There's a lot of hard work by smart people who are involved, but the returns are impressive when you get it right. That's number one. Number two, because we have to bet on ourselves. It's important that we bet on ourselves. And we always talk about African capacity to manufacture vaccines and drugs. This company was actually, and Michael, you tell a better story than I do when it comes to this thing. This company was started in 2018 when His Excellency, in his vision, started already thinking that we need our own capacity to address the lack of supply. You've heard yesterday, general information, but that Africa produces the 3% of all the drugs in Africa. When it comes to vaccine, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's about 1% or less. One big issue. So in his vision, he had already started thinking far ahead on how do we get ahead of this. Now, COVID came and confirmed all our fears that when Africa had to line up before we can get vaccines. So this is the right step forward, and Rwanda walking the talk, leading by example, investing in ourselves, betting on ourselves. To quote His Excellency yesterday, he said, we are better than, definitely stronger, certainly stronger than our problems. And looking at what has been achieved so far through the many milestones with Akagera Medicine, every step of the way, the comments or feedback we get from the regulators or the approvers is impressive and novel. And I know there is a long journey ahead, but so far so great, I think. And we keep that same hope, that same excitement, same optimism that we are and will be stronger than our problems. That's number two. Number three, from a Pan-Africanism perspective, it's important that, number one, it's good business when you manufacture products that can be exported. It's good economics. But also, as we build this bridge to others, being able to do things that are difficult as a country and with a plan to share it across the continent with all the others, that's why we say Rwanda is open. Come in, but also by sending what we make. So we hope this is going to be one of the best exports that Rwanda makes. Number four, as Rwanda aims to become a hub for many areas, from biotech, financial, ICT, tourism, sports. Again, when it comes to walking the talk, we as RSSB, and often playing the role of a catalytic investor, wanted to make sure we bet on the right horse. And this company, Akagera, is going to be one of the anchor tenants in the biotech hub that is being set up. And we really, everything we've planned is working as planned. Some hiccups here and there, but when we meet them, they are met with efficient response. And when we were having a conversation yesterday with Michael saying, okay, so now what? So he said, okay, now we have a plan we'll be sharing with you in the coming weeks on how we move forward, start executing, putting a team in place to actually have the presence here, start doing work here from Rwanda. And as the area, the biotech area is set up, we will be probably one of the first to start exploring the capacity available. So I know my colleague will be on a panel, will elaborate more on that. But just to say that we are really proud of the work being done by the scientists. We are very, very proud of our members who continue to support the fund by their contribution, by their faith, and who also hold us accountable. Every year, for those who know or don't know, we have to spend quite a few hours, about 5 this year, in front of the Public Accountability Committee. And stories like this of what we are doing different, how we are daring and how it's working, is received with warmth from the parliamentarian, but also our members. So without saying too much, I know there is more to be said on the panel. I want to thank you all who made time to come here. The success, one thing I didn't want to forget, the success of this company is very critical because this is one of the many to come. I was challenging Michael yesterday that we need to apply the formula, the framework of what we have achieved so far. We're not there yet, but so far. How do we make this a multiplier for many other jobs, many other opportunities to come, so that tomorrow we don't only have scientists like Daryl and his team coming to Rwanda, but staying in Rwanda. How do we have more Africans, scientists moving to Rwanda, not just for Akagera Medicine, for another XYZ limited company registered in Rwanda operating in biotech, paying global standard rates in terms of salaries, raising the cost, the salary of working in Rwanda, raising the opportunity, the attractiveness of the country that we are, Rwanda. So we are grateful, we're excited, and we are ever supportive of the work that you're doing. And thank you all for being here today.